Hi everyone, so there's some really interesting rumours coming out of Microsoft about the next version of Windows, codenamed Threshold. We'll probably see it as Windows 9, I would have thought. Now, as a lot of people know, Windows 8 has been a complete disaster for Microsoft. They attempted to force everybody down the Metro tiled interface and it blew up in their faces. Now, what we know of Threshold, the rumours coming out via Mary J. Foley, is that essentially Metro is dying, it's going, it's gone, it's dead, if you're on the desktop. You will not see the Metro interface at all, the tiles will not be shown, only if you are on a resolution of, say, a television set, or a smart tablet, or a smartphone, if they continue with their unifying of the operating system, will you actually see the tiled Metro interface. Otherwise, on desktop, you are just going to get a desktop experience, with a start menu. Hurrah! What they are going to do by the looks of it is still allow Metro-style apps, the one app, one window philosophy. But those will be accessed through the Start menu on desktop. Perfect, that makes sense. So what we really need to consider is how did it actually go so badly wrong for Microsoft with Windows 8, and why did they not learn any lessons from the previous times they screwed up Windows releases? Ultimately, it comes down to a fact that Microsoft has a very simple pattern with products. It spends one product listening and it spends another product ignoring everybody. It spends time listening, it spends time ignoring everybody. And this cycle tends to happen because in the beginning Microsoft ignored everybody. Then they find that their enterprises, their consumers and developers simply turn around and say, well, Microsoft, you screwed this up. We're not going to put time and effort into retraining staff, creating apps for the one app, one window philosophy, and so on, whilst you've got such a badly conceived operating system working across so many different displays and adapters. The main issue for Microsoft, like I say, is that they go through these we're not listening exercises where they seem to think that they can dictate to 1.5 billion people how to use Windows. No, Microsoft, no, it has never been that way. As you know, when you launched Vista, when you launched Windows ME, when you launched various other products and services over the years, when you blinker yourselves, when you turn around and say that you know better than the people using your product every day, that's where you come a cropper. So as we saw with Windows 8, everybody and the dog was telling them that if they moved to this one app, one window philosophy with the Microsoft Tiles and Metro system, that they were effectively going to hold the entire operating system for desktop users. What happened? They belligerently went ahead anyway. Enterprise users refused to adopt the operating system, consumers were so confused by the new operating system they refused to upgrade, and developers had nothing to develop for. And so Windows 8 is seen as being yet another turkey, another Windows Vista, the time Microsoft failed to listen. And of course, they nearly sank the Windows division with Vista. This time, things are a little bit better because at least they were able to play across multiple ecosystems, not quite so rigidly stuck with the desktop, but ultimately they still have not been able to gain anywhere near the kind of traction they should have gained, being the largest manufacturer of operating systems in the world. Now, when you actually look at how Surface has performed, it's performed very badly. Not because Surface isn't great, but because Surface is overpriced at the price point that people would want to buy a Surface, the Pro range, and it's completely hobbled in the RT range. Again, developers, split ecosystem, well, what are we going to develop for? Let's just not bother, let's just build iPhone apps, eh? So, Microsoft is in a very strange situation right now, where essentially for the last 3 years it's been pushing a product that is a failure, and until Windows 9 comes out, it can't really reverse the feelings people have towards Windows 8. If I was given a choice between Windows 7 and Windows 8, I would choose Windows 7 if I was a desktop user. Even Windows 8.1.1, or 8.1 Update 1 if you want to call it that, it doesn't really solve some of the major problems Windows 8 actually has. That Metro interface is still there on the desktop and it's still getting in the way. I don't need full screen, I just need quick access to everything whilst leaving my desktop in place. It's a really strange metaphor for Windows 8 really, that on desktop at least, it's a broken paradigm with too many bits that don't make sense for a touch user interface and don't make sense for a mouse-driven interface. That is what Threshold on Windows 9 is going to have to now try and overcome. They've got to now bring the Windows operating system back into a position where every consumer across any type of device can just walk up to the thing and use it naturally. with the expectations in place as to how those UE elements are going to operate. That's one area Microsoft has still got to really kind of wrestle with, and I'm not sure they'll completely pull it off in Threshold. So what do you think? Has Windows 8 been a complete disaster for Microsoft? Was it just another case of them not listening again? Do let me know in the comments, and do please throw a like on this video if you found it helpful.